Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cup Chat this morning. We are so sorry that we missed y'all yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. We had 12 inches of snow in Del Rio, Katie. 12 inches. I had it up to my knees. Well, I had no electricity and no water for 3 days. So with no electricity equals no Wi-Fi equals no Cup Chat. So, and you live in Arkansas where y'all get a little bit colder weather. So you think we're just the biggest wimps down here, I'm sure.
No, Arkansas totally freaked out too. So no, it's we got 17 inches here, which is pretty much unheard of. And, and not to mention the temperatures. So it got -4 one morning. So this just wasn't a normal event anywhere. So
right.
We did keep our electricity. So I was feeling for you guys in Texas. I know it was a rough week. So
it was a rough week. And I think if I would have had a shower, it would have made everything a lot better. But it was one of those days. So Katie, before we kind of get off into the weeds of our morning Cup Chat, let's remind everybody, if you are tuning in, please comment with your name and where you're joining us from. Well, I do have to think, I can't wait till Miss Ellen gets on and hears about our snowstorm because she lives in Pennsylvania. She's a mom of one of our extension team members, and she has got to think we are wimps, thinking like a few inches of snow is a big deal. So Katie, so you're a Birding the Border guide. We're excited to have you come in April. But I think one thing that probably we haven't highlighted is that you work for one of our sister agencies, the Natural Resource Institute. So tell us a little bit about your job at NRI and your history of working in the AgriLife or Texas A&M system.
Yeah, so the Natural Resources Institute, which is also part of Extension. And we do a lot of things, but our main focus is doing research and applying that research, and then also interacting with land managers. So that's a big part of what we do. And we work a lot with Department of Defense, and we do a lot of working with landowners, and to actually do research and then put that research to work and to see what the impacts are of that research to help threatened and endangered species, or we also do feral hogs and all kinds of wildlife management. So yeah, but me personally, I am actually more of a focused on endangered, threatened species, so at-risk species. And I do a lot of more computer work these days. So I do a lot of what's called species status assessments on either species that are listed under the Endangered Species Act or proposed to be listed. And we analyze resiliency and future conditions of those species. And it's a document that can advise the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service going forward about how to treat those species. But I also, I try to keep my toe in the bird world. So we do a lot of studies on, for example, I'm doing a study on Kingsville, the Air Force Base there, and we're looking at the use of the airfield area by raptors, and kind of how they're using it, and how what times of year and weather and things like that, so we can minimize the incidence of planes hitting the birds. So we do stuff
that like is really cool.
Yeah,
that is really
a lot of different things.
Well, that's a super neat thing, thinking about the Air Force Base and our raptors. We have a Air Force Base here in Del Rio called Laughlin, and they're one of the only training bases for, it's one of the few training bases where we're training pilots for the Air Force. And thinking about that, it would be great information so that a young pilot does not hit a bird while flying for the first time. I'm sure that would be a little bit scary. And that's
right. We have a crew out there as well doing research at Laughlin. So
you do?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a bunch of people doing small mammals and bird stuff out there. So yeah,
wow.
NRI is everywhere.
It is. And I love just pitching out and clap for the NRI. I love y'all's land use trends data. So if y'all have never gone to the NRI website, go just check it out. It's just interesting information, and they do a great job of making it easy to read, because sometimes you go to and seeing scientific data and research, and you kind of get bogged down in lots of reading. And I love the way that NRI gets that information out to us so we can enjoy it and learn from it. So diving into the bird world, we're going to be talking about rare birds today. And we are going to kind of focus on rare birds in Val Verde County, because Katie did do some of her research here in Val Verde County on the golden cheek warbler, actually Kinney County. And she is actually guiding the site, the ranch, Dobbs Ranch, which is a site for birding the border, is where she did her black-cap vireo.
I did black-cap vireos, but I actually did it at Devil's River State Natural Area. But we had a grad student at Dobbs Run in that area that I helped out in a couple of years. So I've been out there a lot. So.
Well, and she was out with us on our last Birding the Border trip out there, and was definitely the finder of the golden cheeks and the black caps. So we're excited to have her. That trip is almost full, Katie. So hopefully you'll have a full group going out there. You'll get to ride around on the ATVs. It'll be super fun. So let's talk about why rare birds are such a probability here in Val Verde County, as we talk about ecoregions, and why Val Verde County is a unique place to see rare birds. So I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so Val Verde County is so cool because it is the location where 3 different ecoregions meet. So you've got the mesquite chaparral of the South Texas region. You've got the oak juniper of the Edwards Plateau coming in right there. And then you also have the Trans-Pecos, like Soto Lechuguilla, and it's all coming in Val Verde County. They meet right there. So you have a chance to see birds from any of those regions all in this one county. So that just means you have tons of different, grass and herbaceous communities. And so, with these different plant communities, you've got different birds, and they're all coming in together. And so what's so exciting about Val Verde County is you don't have any idea what birds you're going to see, because you could see, just so many, from the different regions. And also it's a great migration area. So especially the time of year we're going to be there, it's even birds outside of those communities that you can see. So you have birds that are heading north. And so, I've seen birds that, you don't see during the summer there, but they migrate right through there. So it could be anything. And it's just a really cool place. So,
well, and I think the unique thing is, talking about Devil's River State Natural Area, you look at Devil's River State Natural Area, which is a trip we're offering 3 days this at Birding the Border. Sorry to keep putting the plugs in, guys, but gotta keep telling you. And if you look at that one and you evaluate it, I really think that point is a great example of truly where all 3 kind of come together, because it's right there at the edge of the hill country. You have some large oaks, you have the springs, you have some of that juniper, and then on the other side of the Devil's River, which is coming into, on the other side of the Devil's River, you're getting more of our West Texas habitat. You've got the sheet. You've got the sheet.
That lets you it'll cut your ankles.
Yeah, and then at the bottom half of that, you still get some of that mesquite and brushy. So I would have to say that I think that Devil's River is a really good example of a place where you can see a variety of all 3 ecoregions very easily. Definitely the Edwards Plateau and the Soto Lechuguilla side. So
yeah, and throw in the water, and the water feature, you've got Dolan Creek begins right there at the spring and Dolan Springs, and then that goes into the Devil's River, and there's just birds galore. So there's so many.
Yes, well, and let's talk about that. So we're going to jump. I know we have kind of an order, but there's no rules here. So we'll just go ahead and jump. And so we not only do we have 3 different ecoregions, we have multiple running water sources, plus one of the largest lakes in Texas that combine and meet in Del Rio. So we have the Rio Grande, we have the Pecos, and we have the Devil's River, and all of those run through Amistad. And if you want to get creative, you can count San Felipe Creek in South Del Rio. And so really the water sources, for being such a dry and arid climate in Valverde County, are very abundant, which my producers will say not abundant enough for us for livestock and agricultural uses. But our rivers, we have quite a few rivers that run through the county that provide that great water source. So why does having these great water sources like this increase our chance of seeing rare birds? And hence, so we are on the central migration pathway.
Yeah, so the area as a migration pathway because the water is there. So so not only are they using that area to move through, rather than going maybe west or so if birds that are western birds, they may travel up through that area and along the Pecos and along the Devils to stay near water as much as they possibly can. So yeah, so not only that, so they're using that as a corridor, but it really concentrates the birds that are moving through there so that it increases your likelihood that you're going to see them. So they're all coming to that, kind of that one area around the water. And I mean, it makes it a lot easier in less amount of time, right, to see more birds.
Funneling them in.
Yes, it's a funnel, exactly.
Well, if you think about it, if you look at the funnel, the amount of large water sources on going west, very minimal once you head that other way out of Alberta County. And even heading east, there are only a few major water sources coming through. And then I kind of use the Highway 90 kind of as a landmark. Is you're not going through a bunch. I mean, you've got the Campwood and Uvalde area that has some water, but nothing like the Pecos, Rio Grande, and the Devils all coming in together.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, unique place.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get all the groups out and see really what we see. Because I'll be very honest, there's some places that we have, due to time issues, we have not slowly birded. We call it fast birding sometimes when we're trying to get to all the different locations. Yeah. And not everybody loves me when we fast bird. But we have to fast bird to get to all the different locations sometimes. And so I think our lists are amazing when we fast bird. I cannot imagine seeing what y'all get to see when y'all get to slow bird it and take all that morning and all afternoon. So I'm excited to see some of the lists come in, especially like that. I don't think we've ever been able to slow bird extensively Zooberville Ranch. So that one, those trips are full. And that's on that further west ecoregion. Mm-hmm. But that one, I'm so excited because like the craziest species have shown up out there. We got a kiskadee out there the other day. And then in the middle of summer, this is a weird one, guys. So in the middle of summer, in August, like at 11 o'clock, so it was already 100 degrees outside, we saw an oriole. Yeah. Out there, just randomly. So, I mean, I really think that that's going to be a very interesting piece, and those landowners are wonderful, and they're excited to have y'all out there. Now, so we're border of 3 ecoregions. We are also have all this water, but we are also a political border. So we are in Valverde County, located between Texas and Mexico, right there on the edge. I mean, I kind of want to sing the George Strait, Blame It on Mexico, Acuna song, because our sister city is Acuna, everybody, but I will spare you the musical talent of the morning. So why does being on the border between Texas and Mexico make a difference too? Because obviously the kids can't read maps. They really don't know that we are on the border between Texas and Mexico.
Right. So the mountains just south of the border. And so you've got even more bird species starting right there at the border south of the Rio Grande, and they creep up. And so you have a chance of seeing some of those birds that you're kind of at the northern tip of their range, and they do show up in the Del Rio area. So there's always a chance that you're going to see some things that, you don't have a chance of seeing almost anywhere else in the United States. So yeah, it's great.
Well, and we are going to be birding truly on the border when you do the Amistad trip. The below the dam trip, that trip is full, but you are walking right along the river in a part of the National Park Service that is close to the public. And you are literally right there, and you can, like, right there is Mexico. So like you can see it. We're not going across, and I promise we are perfectly safe. But yeah, it's right there. So that's going to be interesting. Now let's talk about tips for seeing some rare birds while you're out. Obviously, going to Birding the Border and birding with a great guide would be one of them.
Definitely.
But what are some other tips if you're out birding by yourself? What are your recommendations to look and find some of those rare birds that maybe don't necessarily belong?
Well, first of all, time, which we're going to have more of, and patience, but also, I always say this: keep your ears open, because you're going to hear things that you've never heard before, and that's how you find them. You follow to the sounds that you've never heard before. That's how I found, birds. I hear a sound, I say, I don't recognize the sound, that's not familiar to this, something I hear regularly, and you follow it, and that's when you find something really cool. So yeah, just time and patience, and just the more time you can spend out there, and also going to different habitats, going to the water. So like even within, say you're out of Devil's River, you can visit all those different habitats in a day. And so you're definitely bumping up your likelihood of seeing a lot of different bird species. So.
Well, and with the Devil's River trip, talk about, it's not rare to the area at this point, but rare in the sense that the tropical parula, the hybrid parula, a very unique spot that they want to live in that Devil's River area. So we're excited to be able to feature that bird this year and see some of those. So while that's not rare to Devil's River State National Area, it is a rare bird, kind of in the fact that that's the only extra little pocket that they have here.
Yeah, and it's not hard to find them. They're very loud.
No, and we found them highly consistency. And, when we did Learn to Bird in October, and I know we've had just such an influx of rare birds, and I think some of that's COVID, where we've actually been out birding a little bit more. But I think some of that is we spent more time looking maybe in areas that we haven't been, but we saw several rare birds that were either first listed for the county or hasn't been seen in 15 or 20 years. As we were out at Devil's River in the fall. Can you imagine in the fall we find rare birds? What we're going to find in the spring this year? And then let's talk a little about the weather. How do you see our odd weather impacting migration? Do you think it's going to be a little later? Do you think it's going to be a little earlier? What is your thoughts on how migration is going to happen this year, just because of the weather? Because we were in the teens, 10 days ago, and now we're 73 degrees, and I need to get my shorts back out.
Yeah, I know. It was 74 here yesterday. So a week ago it was -4. So no, that'll be interesting to see. And I think it depends on what the weather looks like from here on out. So it probably did drive some birds further south. Just that cold air just probably pushed some of those more, warm weather birds further south. So it may delay migration a little bit this year, but it depends. If it's warm from now until, April, May, then it may not make a difference. They probably creep back up, and it'll kind of be a typical time. It depends on rain. It depends on the season, but it does kind of make it interesting because you may see different things than you normally do because of this strange weather event. It just, it causes, who knows, if it stays a little colder for longer, if we get another cold snap, you may see, who knows? I saw a huge flock of mountain bluebirds during the winter down there one time. So, you never know, you can get anything. And so, the weather may shift things around a little bit.
Well, we are a little bit later this year than we have been
That's
in
true.
past years.
Yeah.
So the migration delaying a little bit, it will not be a terrible thing for us because typically we hit it perfectly between that second and third week of hot migration time. So maybe I kick a week back, we'll still be good on that, hitting some of that. Maybe when we, the time will work out perfect. So
I think it will. Because when I worked down there, I was there from mid-March to like late July when I worked down there. And you had migration of different species at different times. So I mean, what it means is if you've gone to bury on the border before and you saw certain species, if you go this year, you're going to see different species, which is really cool. So you're constantly getting kind of waves of migratory birds. And so, yeah, it's a little later, but you're still going to see birds. They just might be a little different than the ones you saw a little earlier. So,
and that'll be neat. And I think that, we're hoping that we'll get some feeding
and some I was just going to say, and some breeding birds that maybe you're just catching the edge of if you did earlier. It's hard. When I was out there last time at Dobbs Run, it was cold, and doing the birding and border, it was cold and the birds were kind of just getting going. And so they're a little quieter, but they will be rocking.
Well, and we still, even on a bad day at Dobbs Run, we still got the blackcap and multiple golden cheeks.
Oh yeah, they cover up the place. Yeah.
The fun thing about the Dobbs, the very unique thing about the Dobbs Run Ranch is how well they have done their management strategies to support the golden cheeks as well as blackcaps. And it's interesting because they truly are wonderful landowners. Know some people who help them, and they specifically hand cleared juniper to make sure we left juniper habitat, old juniper, for the golden cheeks, and remove some of that others so they could have that wildlife diversity. So they're wonderful. That's a wonderful place to go. And if you haven't gone on that trip, I highly recommend it. And you do have a great guide.
Yes, you do. They are a great example of land managers in Texas. I mean, it's done the right way, and it's a beautiful property. So really neat. Lots of birds.
What you have anything else, Katie? I was trying to think about what else we could talk about this morning.
Well, I mean, you were going to ask me about any of the rare birds that
give us some list. Let's hear.
Okay. Just some things that, and some of these, of course, there's no guarantee you're going to see them. I spent pretty much all day, every day for 4 months out there. So, I mean, you're not going to see everything, but things that you could see. Olive sparrow, really. I mean, that's cool.
We got the olive sparrow at Devils, so they're in May last year, and I feel like we've seen the olive sparrow on multiple sites.
Yeah, it's definitely one you have to be kind of really looking, but you can find them. So
I would think that's a high probability rare bird.
Okay, yeah. So it's a great area for olive sparrow. Of course, the ring-kit kingfisher, if you're on the river. Which is really cool because it's so big, and it's just you don't see them very many places in Texas, so it's really neat to be able to catch them. And Couch's kingbird, kind of more of a South Texas, but you'll see it. Long-billed thrasher, curve-billed thrasher, those are fun and exciting. Sage thrasher, I actually saw, I think, twice when I was out at Devils. Lark buntings, which is kind of more, have y'all seen lark buntings when you've come out?
I like a good bunting, but I don't know that I've ever seen the larks.
Well, they come through during migration, and there'll be tons of them one day. They'll just be all over everything, and then 2 days later you won't see any. So it really is an opportunistic kind of, are you there when they're migrating through kind of thing. So, but there's a chance. Look up and see
those guys.
I need to look up and see when I saw those. I would take notes of when I saw them. And I don't know what time of year it was. I mean, it was obviously during migration, but I don't know exactly what month it was. But it feels like it was a little later in migration. So there may be a chance.
Yeah, I mean, their range definitely loops us over. So, gosh, y'all know how these backgrounds work. So yeah, there's a That one would be a fun one. I'm in on that one.
Yeah, it's fun. Let's see. Well, zone-tailed hawk is cool. I mean, I don't know. I mean, would you consider that rare? I wouldn't consider it rare at Devil's River because I saw one almost every day at Devil's River. So, but
I think they are rare in the sense that while they're there, they don't always come out to be seen. I don't know that we have seen a lot of zone-tailed hawks, because but I mean they are there, and so every time something flies over, that's what we check for. I would say that they're rare to be there. I think that they are rare to see. Okay. Unless you're spending a lot of time there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we had a pair nesting down at the Dolan Falls, actually on the east side of the river in the larger trees for a couple of years. And I took a friend of mine, another grad student, came down, and we went down there, and he almost had his head taken off by the nesting zone-tailed hawk. So yeah, we avoided that area from then on. She was pretty protective. So, but yeah, so zone-tailed hawk, there's a chance. It's, they use the area. Really cool bird. Brown-crested flycatcher, I like. Paraloxia, I mean,
we should see several of those.
Yeah, rare other place, but I mean, as far as when you're getting into Western Texas, it's you start seeing them, and a canyon towhee, and yeah, let's see, that's I mean, of course, black vireos, golden cheek warblers. They're not as rare as you would think they are. They're pretty common out there. So
well, and we have a chance to get black caps in Valverde County versus just in Kinney County, which would be a little bit slightly on the rarer side for me, I believe, on the McKenna Ranch. And we do have a chance. We do still have a chance to see the rufous cap warbler.
Yeah.
So
I never saw one when I was there, but I know people that did. So you did.
I have seen him. He has a great little spot. So I'm sure that hopefully he will either, I don't know that he will stay, but I think that there is a chance that we get I think there is a chance up in Devils that you could definitely see one. But that is a rare one.
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And it would be so cool if he would stay. And while not rare, I think it's a unique thing that we do have the seed eater.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we typically know where we know where they like to hang out. So hopefully we'll go get to see the seed eaters.
The benefits of a guide.
What?
The benefits of having a guide versus just going out there on your own.
That is true. That is true. What else have I seen that I thought was cool? I only like to hunt the rare ones. What did we see the other day that I thought was cool? I don't know. We've had a lot of rare, and at least rarity for our area this year. So that I think will be interesting to see if that carries over through Birding the Border. So
yeah, for sure. But I mean, I just want to brag on the kind of common species out there, because there are amazing species out there. Black-tailed gnatcatcher, black-throated sparrow. Cassins is pretty common. Cassin sparrow. There's just some really cool birds that just because of the zone you're in, you're gonna see. You're just
and tropical parulas. And hybrid parulas. Those aren't necessarily going to be rare at Devil's River, but I think those are some cool birds that you don't have the opportunity to see anywhere else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's birds that you're definitely going to see that you're not going to see very many other places. So they're rare in Texas, but not rare in the area. So.
Well, I think your parula will be cool, or your paraloxia. We'll have several places to see a paraloxia, and the black-tailed gnatcatcher you said. And what was the other one? Oh, all the buntings. We should be able to, hopefully we'll be able to see a painted bunting.
Varied.
Where am I?
Large bunting, varied bunting.
Varied. And then the all blue one. God, my buntings, I love them, but God, the words of it.
Oh, lazuli or lazula?
No, indigo.
Indigo. Oh, yeah.
The indigo, the varied, the painted, and then you said the lark's bunting is definitely a possibility. Yeah. Which I've done. Yeah. I may have. I've been paying attention out on that birding trip, but I don't know that I've seen the lark's bunting out here. So.
Yeah, like I said, it's a completely like just they migrate in a big flock through there and then they're gone. So it's really just if you're in the right place at the right time. So
well, maybe we'll have bonus points if we see all 4 buntings.
there you go.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're talking about rare species, and this kind of brings up a whole nother segue. The Birding the Border and actually all Birding with Extension programs. So we have species stickers. So if you go out and so we like stickers in Birding with Extension. So when you go out with Extension and you see a lifer, we have lifer stickers for you. So your guides will have some lifer stickers. So each trip you go on, if you get a lifer, you'll get a sticker. And then it has a place for you to fill out what your lifers were, or if you want to look at, write down the scientific abbreviation. If you get to see a lot of lifers. But we have 10 species stickers that you can collect if you see them. So speaking of which, the elf owl, which is kind of a rarity, not necessarily that the finding him in Kickapoo is not necessarily a rarity, but he is, it is kind of neat to see the elf owl in Kickapoo. And so actually in our birding, the Birds, Bats, and Owls dinner is full to see that guy. But if you want to be on a waiting list, you can go on the waiting list. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what our stickers are. I want to say we have a gnat catcher. This is not the good time to quiz me, Katie, on this.
You should be drinking more coffee.
I wonder if I have. I really want to pull that up because I think it'd be cool to talk about.
Now I'm curious, and I'm super competitive, and I want all the stickers. So
I know.
I get all the stickers.
Let me see if I can find them really quick. Actually, they're on my computer. Give me 2 secs.
Okay.
If everybody will hold, if everyone wants to know what sticker species you can get. If not, we are going to be done and we'll wrap it up after this. But now that we've dived in, we want to know.
Yeah. I like stickers and I like finding things that competitively.
I know. Y'all are kind of competitive people. I'm telling you, my bird guides are like, I'm going to get the most. I'm like, guys, come on now. We just need good trips. No, we're going to be the best. Like, okay, guys. So one of the stickers is a black and white warbler.
Mm-hmm.
And so that
Dobbs easy. Totally getting that at Dobbs, everybody.
Oh, you're going to get that at Dobbs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, we were surprised the other day when we found him at Kickapoo.
Those things are, you just got to be able to.
He's talking smack, guys. I don't know that we've ever seen a black and white warbler.
What?
At Dobbs.
Okay.
I don't know that that's on our list.
Okay, well, we're going to get one this year. Don't worry.
Oh.
I got it.
Okay, guys, black and white warbler in Kinney County, go with Katie. Okay, here they are. Okay, come on. Okay, so we have the indigo bunting. We do have the tropical northern Parula hybrid, the green kingfisher, the gray vireo, the green jay, black cap vireo, golden cheek, black and white warbler, the elf owl, and there's one more, but we changed him. Oh, I think it was the black-tail. I think we went to the black-tailed gnatcatcher.
Okay.
So there are 10 species that you can collect.
Oh, yeah. I can get those. I know where to get all of those. So.
Well, you have to get them on your trips, Katie.
Well, we'll see.
You can,
I know I can get a gray vireo out there at Dobbs. So I'm not worried about that. Black-tailed gnatcatcher might be a little difficult over there as opposed to more at Devils, but.
Well, you've got Tularosa Road, which is also on that side of the area. Dobbs,
Mm-hmm.
What's your third one?
What was the other one?
Oh, McKenna. You're going to McKenna.
Oh, the other place. Yeah, McKenna.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It'll be challenging. Set your goals high.
I like a challenge.
There you go. All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed our morning cup chat. Thank you, Katie, for joining me. It's going to be so fun in April, and we're excited to have you come down and kind of get back to birding where you've been. So
get out of the house too.
That is very true. Very true. If you've registered for Burning the Border, we are working on having our final COVID guidelines set up. But as y'all know, that is kind of an ever-changing kind of thing. So we've all lived with COVID for about a year now. So, the normal COVID restrictions are already going to be in play. We are just working on details as capacity numbers can change. We are well below capacity of our venue. Not worried about that. But as different things kind of change and guidelines change, there may be a few adjustments, but prepare for all the normal COVID guidelines, temperature checks, mask, social distancing, yada, yada, yada. And then we'll get that final guidelines out to y'all soon. So thanks, Katie, for joining us. Stay warm up there, and hopefully, and we'll see you in April. So,
right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Hope you have a great morning. Oh, hold on.